after having done a couple of Nusa Dua videos over the past couple of weeks, it got me thinking about what is it that I would really love to see if I was staying in Nusa Dua. And I think I got the answer. So I'm standing here, that is up to Tanjung Benoa. That is into the resort area, but there's a road down here that looks really interesting and it's real local style. So I want to go and explore that today, but I also want to go and find restaurants, cafes and stuff that might be really accessible if you're staying in the resort area or staying in Tanjung Benoa, and you can just get a little taxi across here, because I think it's in these areas that you have a more real Bali experience. And of course, staying in the resorts is nice, and you know, all the resort food is, you know, 5-star world class, but it's sort of nice to get a bit of character, a bit of color and flavor into your dining experiences as well. And maybe even find some other services like spas, tours, laundries and that sort of stuff as well. Let's check it out. The first thing I'm seeing, and it's really, really distinct, is that this feels like a real Balinese or Indonesian main road. Like, just so typical of all the local businesses up and down here. So heaps and heaps of local warungs. They're not tourist warungs or anything like that. Real local style. You get a bit of fried chicken, or you can get some, I don't know, nasi goreng or whatever. Like that one there. Like real local style. So nice. Interestingly, like there's a tailor there, for example. There's a Depot Tanjung, which is seafood and Chinese food. It looks like maybe at some point they have got an eye out for tourists who are sort of wandering into this area, which is nice as well. So you get some of that stuff that you might want, like they'll understand a little bit of English, for example. You got a laundry here. I mean, that'll be heaps cheaper than in the resorts, that's for sure. That's a good one, Go-Go Fried Chicken. That's a chain. You got a babi guling place. They call it Sam guling, which is just basically the belly of the pig rather than the whole pig itself. Usually Sam guling, that style of babi guling is, yeah, it's really, really nice. Especially if you like pork belly. There's a place here called Warung Sosialita. It's closed at the moment, probably a bit early for them. That is a local coffee shop and eatery. So it's a cafe, but it's sort of catered to local tastes. It's interesting around here. I'm not really seeing any hotels. So what I would expect in a place like Nusa Dua is, of course, when all the resorts came in, you'd get all this, you know, planned and structured building going on. But then over time, as people realise that the beach is actually really good, that something else would sort of pop up around it, like an infrastructure of cheaper options. Now, I know there is one or two that I looked at on the previous video, but it's sort of, they're still big hotels. They're not sort of like your mid-range ones, which I'm a little bit surprised about. So the name of this road is Jalan Pratama. So with that pronunciation, just remember the way the A is sounded in Indonesian, Pratama. Yeah, so this road sort of is inland, away from the resorts, and it's probably close enough that you can walk to the beach from here, but I don't think too many foreigners get up here, to be honest. But I just really like it. I like the grittiness of it. It's got a lot of character, and you know, there are some pretty good eating options up here as well. I can just see by all these warungs that are around here, the locals are going about buying their morning snacks and so forth. I'm here at about 8:30. What time is it? Yeah, 8:30. So people are getting their brekkie and that sort of stuff, and so it's obviously a well-regarded part of town, and there's just so many options as well. I mean, I wouldn't be going to get fried chicken from a brekkie, or even that one, Warung Jawa Budian. Yeah, that's the one where you can select what you want from the window. That's already pre-cooked, a lot of that food. They'll probably, there's another one as well. Warung Bu Sri Banyuwangi. Another one where you could select in the window. But they'll often do fresh cooked stuff for you as well if you want something freshly cooked. There's a satay place across there. They're doing pork, chicken and fish satay. That looks pretty cool, eh? An aquarium place, not eating those ones. If you found yourself in Nusa Dua and you're in one of the resorts and it's not really what you wanted from Bali, I mean, this is the sort of street that you might want to come and explore. Oh, there's a hotel there, Amaris. Now that is a cheaper style hotel for sure. That's the sort of hotel I was sort of expecting in this area. Doesn't look very busy though. Yeah, that's sort of a cheaper style hotel, not that far from the beach. Yeah, so if you find yourself accidentally here in Nusa Dua and it's not really what you want, but you're committed, you can come out and explore the back streets and have even more of an authentic experience here in Bali than you might even in someone like Kuta, because you don't even really get this so much in Kuta these days. Even the back streets of Kuta are fairly well touristed, Kuta Legian Saminya. But this place, clearly, they haven't tailored it at all for tourism. Oh, there's a cafe there, Rehat. I'm gonna go and check it out, might even get a coffee. Look at this one. That looks good. Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I just got speaking to the owner, Rocky. Hello, Rocky, how are you?
How are you? Good, thank you, great.
Can you explain to me what's happening more often now in Nusa Dua as far as tourists coming here and maybe coming up and down this street looking for food and things? Is that sort of more often now?
That's correct. So more people, more the guests that looking for more authentic, genuine, more local experience. So they going out and then try the local food. Nasi campur.
Soto. Some guling I saw down there.
Some Balinese cuisine as well. Just a little bit maybe. Spicy tolerance for them is quite different. But then they also like to try the fruits, local fruits. Some seasonal fruits like.
Is that famous up and down here for selling lots of good fruits?
There are a lot of fruit sellers.
And
also the veggies like groceries. They think it's much more fresh. Also, in terms of the price, it's more local.
Local price.
The local shop. Rather than going to supermarket. As well, having a local food really, broaden their experience.
So people coming to the resorts here in Nusa Dua, it would be a good idea for them to come up and down this street, just have a look, really.
Exactly.
Have a look. Go shopping.
Because
come and have a coffee at Rehat.
That would be great. I mean, trying the local experiences, that will be fascinating.
Thank you, mate. Have a look at this. Nice little pancakes there. Isn't that a really attractive looking dish? And then that's my coffee. I'm just interested in what that is. Is that a cracker or a piece of chocolate? We'll find out. I'm not sure. Give the coffee a go. It's good. Really good. So the interesting thing about this cafe, it's called Rehat, which basically means to have a break or take a rest, like a casual word for let's have a rest first. So if you're coming past and you think let's have a break or let's have a rest, come into Rehat because that's exactly what it's set up for. Perfect. It's actually halfway down this road, so it's probably the perfect spot as well. Okay, we've got a bit of fresh fruit on this pancake, banana, mango, strawberries. A couple of pancakes. This whole thing only costs 82,500 by the way, which is pretty good value. That is a really, really good pancake. I'm actually really impressed with this place already. What a wonderful little place to stop. Highly recommend going there. I actually thought I was halfway down the road, but I'm not. I'm closer to the main entrance to Nusa Dua now than I am to where I started the video. So I'm actually not far from there. And it gets interesting up here as well because there's another sort of section that I think's worth a bit of a look. Here's all those fruits that Rocky was talking about. They're everywhere. All these fruit shops, little warungs. The interesting thing about the word warung is that a lot of people translate it to mean small eatery or informal restaurant or something like that, and that's not the translation. Warung doesn't mean that. It can, but it's not the sole meaning of it. So warung simply means small shop, and it can be, if you say warung makan, well, it then specifies that it's a small eatery, But there's all sorts of different warungs. So just by saying the word warung, it's not necessarily clear what sort of warung you're referring to. Like that's a warung for sure in there, little warung. And you can't go and sit down and eat in that place, but it's still a warung. If you want to be specific and you want to basically say to someone that this is actually an eating place, you can then say warung makan. But it doesn't mean it's wrong to say warung when referring to a small eatery. It's just that that's not the only meaning of it. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is the pronunciation of warung. That U sound has to be U, We wouldn't in English often do a sound like that with a UNG, We sometimes do, but not often. So it's warung. You don't have to roll the R. If you don't want to roll the R, it's just like warung. Warung, yeah? If you say warung, I mean, you're 90% of the way there. An interesting fact about that rolling of the R, it's a really funny thing because when you learn how to do it, you start rolling your R everywhere, like you start overdoing it, and locals would never roll their R that much. And so you can really tell the foreigner who's just learned to roll their R's because they're rolling their R's everywhere, and it's like you know, they're really like proper market there on the corner. So this is the main road in Nusa Dua that comes down here and goes that way into the resorts, and then up there, that sort of gets you up into the Bukit area. And interestingly, so the entrance is just there, it's not far, you can walk to your hotels from there. But in that sort of section in there is where there's some stuff. So I'm gonna walk up here and check it out. Yeah, getting back to the rolling of the R's, you get people going, oh, warung. Like that. And it's like, you don't have to roll your R that much, mate. There's lots of, I mean, I was one of those, like, don't get me wrong, I was one of those. I still roll it a bit too much every now and then when I get a bit excited, you know? But Indonesians will do it as well. If you want to be really expressive in Indonesian, you can really lean into the colour that you can put into your voice, you know, warung enak sekali. You know, you can do that. I mean, we do it a little bit in English as well, probably not as much. Oh, what a beautiful little restaurant. Yeah, a bit like that. You can do that in Indonesian as well. And but then you can really sort of enunciate some of those syllables in there. This is a fairly boring section of the main road in Nusa Dua, but I'm going up here because I want to cut down a side road up here and then take the inland route. So, I mean, these places are walkable from the main hotels in Nusa Dua, but not everyone's going to want to walk it. You might want to catch a cab. Like, I'm going to walk it, so it's definitely doable. But if you can't bother, just catch a cab. It's not that far. I was just walking past that place and it's called Badan Gizi Nasional. It's a national nutritional body, which just sounds a bit weird, but that's what it is. Basically, the new government recently implemented a scheme, and it's not without a lot of criticism, by the way, but the theory behind it's very good. So in Indonesia, there's an issue where a lot of children are malnourished. They don't have the right nutrients in their body to grow properly, and there's a lot of cases of what they call stunting, where someone's body, basically, people grow a little bit disproportionately and don't grow very tall. So you get a lot of short people with their bodies and legs being a little bit out of proportion. And it's usually to do with just feeding people rice only. A rice only diet really isn't good for the kids. So what the government's implemented is a scheme where kids can get basically free meals at school. And it'll be provided very, very small, but a lot more than what they probably got at home anyway. So they might get a little carton of milk. They might get a few little veggies. They might get a scrap of sausage in there or something like that. Something pretty simple, but at great expense, because if you have to do that with all the kids in Indonesia, it's hugely expensive. But I just think it's one of those healthcare things that's just really, you know, so important, you know, get those kids some nutrition in early life, and then it sets them up for later in life, you know, living a more healthy, longer life. So just on that, you will see vans driving around Bali and other parts of Indonesia with a label on it, which is Badan Gizi Nasional, and that's the people who are just looking after all of those nutritional concerns for the kids, which is good. But as I said, this was a big political issue in Indonesia, and you know, it was not pleasant. Basically, a lot of people were teasing the implementation of it. So people were teasing the fact that, I'm going to try and cross over here, not get done. Teasing the fact that in some areas, because a lot of this is outsourced, you know, the providers were not doing a very good job. It was a bit embarrassing for the government. But also some people got food poisoning and all this sort of stuff. I mean, of course there were cases of bad things happening, but I mean, you know, I'm not into the politics of it, but you know, you've got to respect that sort of progressive thinking about trying to get the health of the nation up. I mean, it sort of goes hand in hand with that BPJS National Insurance Scheme for Health. I mean, that's a really good system too. As I was just saying, BPJS, it just got me thinking about how the letters in Indonesian, you need to learn, well, you don't have to, but if you're going to become proficient in the language at some point, you should learn how to say each letter individually. So if you want to spell it, BPJS, and every letter sounds a little bit different. And that takes a while to learn, actually, the way to pronounce each letter. There's a footpath behind that. I just walked down and it turns into a forest. So I had to come along the road and walk along here. There it is, that's the main footpath. It's crazy, eh? There's an old car just parked up there. I don't know what sort of car that is. Almost looks like an old Daihatsu Charade, but they call it a Forza. I wonder what that is. Interesting car. It's still registered. It looks like it's just been abandoned. So I'm going up this road here. This sort of goes up the hill a bit. This is another way to get into the Bukit area, a pretty major road. This must be the road with all the old vehicles on it. Suzuki Baleno, is it? Oh no, it's Suzuki Forza. Ah, there you go. Someone must be collecting them around here. So yeah, this road goes uphill, and it's not like a pleasant road to walk along, but I know there are some things here, like eateries and things that are probably interesting. A bit of shopping that you can do. Like you've got little hand phone shops, and you've got a Warung Muslim here, which like lots of good looking food in that window there. Like really good looking food. That's another word you can learn. The word for mobile phone is hand phone, but it's shortened to hape. There is another word that is more formal than that, but you'll never hear it. Yeah, so just say hape, and that means hand phone. Everyone knows what that means. I was just going past a warung back there. It's just like a real simple warung, and it had a sign there. Harap bawa tas belanja sendiri. So what it basically means is, we hope you bring your own shopping bag, basically. I say the word hope, but it's not really hope. So when we do a direct translation to English and you just say, oh, what does this word mean? You probably, I don't know, maybe Google Translate, I would say harap, or harapan is hope, yeah. When it's put on the front of a sentence like that, it's almost like please. It's like a polite way of saying you really need to bring your own shopping bag. It's not like, oh, I really hope you did that. It's not really like that. There's also a few other words that translate to please like that, because we use the word please in so many weird different ways that the translations are multiple. Someone asked me in the comments the other day, oh, so what does please translate to? And it's like, you can't translate it. I can't give you a word for what you translate please into. So, you know, in that context, it's almost like please in a very polite way. There is another word which is mohon, yeah, and it's requesting someone to do something, but in a very polite way as well. It's basically telling you to do something, but framed as asking, yeah? I'm telling you to do it, but I'm gonna ask. Little pizzeria over there called Topham. Looks pretty modern. I mean, I don't know any of the reviews of these places, but you know, this is sort of an area where I know there is just so much eating. Just so many different warungs as well, like Ayam Bakar Madu Jakarta. That is your grilled chicken with honey on it. Honey glazed chicken it will be. Warung Buleleng. Yeah, Buleleng is the regency up in the north of Bali, which includes Singaraja and Lovina. Actually, the more I talk about language on this channel, the more confusing it sounds, I think. Like, there are so many rules and intricacies, and yeah, it sounds really complicated. It's funny because when you start learning it and you start putting it into practice, like all of this just makes sense very naturally. You don't even have to think about it. But before you've learnt it, you sort of need to understand it to get an idea of why you would use a particular word in a particular situation. Otherwise, you might not use it. But once you start doing it, it like just feels totally normal. And then you too will actually feel why a particular word won't translate. You'll understand why please doesn't translate once you start sort of using those other words like silakan, mohon, harap. You know, when you start using those words, you'll know. You'll know. So I'm coming up to this set of lights where if you turn right, you get up into the main Bukit area, up to Uluwatu and so forth. Got a bit of a KFC going on there. I'm going to go straight here, straight across at the lights, because there are a few more things to see. That's the usual look of a toko bangunan, or like a building supply shop. You normally have your dirts, different grades of dirt in different areas, and you have all your pieces of metal and wood and all that sort of stuff hung up, and then you've got things like wheelbarrows and general supplies, bricks and so forth are also in there. And those sorts of building supply shops are everywhere in Indonesia. Even in the smallest villages, you'll probably have one, because people are always doing maintenance and work on their houses. So you always need a toko bangunan really close to where you are. And they're always there. And in some, like where I used to live in Bundle, like within walking distance, there would have been 10 of them. And the prices are all over the place, like totally different, depending on who you go to. So you've got to shop around for the different pieces, bits and pieces that you want. There's a little flower shop there, interesting.
Yes.
Fresh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Boleh lihat?
Boleh.
Wow, look at this. Nice flowers everywhere. A bunch, oh, beautiful, beautiful flowers. Very fresh ones. They've got everything. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's called Bali Bravo Florist. And they're good quality flowers there, really good. Often what I'll find, like flowers in Bali can be very, very cheap, but you've got to buy them from the right place. Well, I've been to different places over the years, and some of them are quite expensive. Some of them are variable in price depending on when you go. And then there are others that just always seem to be quite cheap. And you've got to do shopping around and find the place that you like. Actually, there's a place in Denpasar which I haven't really shown yet, but I should. There's a whole street, like a flower street, which is a pretty good place to go as well. But that one looked pretty cool, didn't it? That's a little acupuncture clinic. And over the road, there's like a spa training clinic as well. Probably for locals, you know, if you want to become a massage therapist, you probably have to go and do a sort of a 6-week course there or whatever it is. Well, that looks mildly interesting. Silicon Food Park. It's not really sort of happening at the moment. Maybe it does over at lunchtime and what have you, but there's a few little stalls there. It's like a little, oh yeah, little shops and so forth. Yeah, nice little area for almost like a modern market, food market. It's called Silicon Food Park. Well, that's probably worth having a look at. You might have to research opening times because at the moment there's not really much activity there. I'm in the morning, not many people are going to be going to a place like that anyway. So as I come down this road, it actually comes to the southern end of the entrance to the hotel and resort area in Nusa Dua. So I'm probably now closer to some other people who might be staying in the southern end of Nusa Dua. Yeah, so it's sort of like I'm on a bit of a loop. All this is easily walkable from the main hotels, but it's just a matter of whether you can be bothered or not. Okay, we have a little hospital here. Rumah Sakit Surya Husadya. Hursadha. There's a cafe across the road from the hospital, and it's called Art Cafe. Now that place has a pretty good reputation. I mean, I can see signs there saying authentic Balinese cuisine, but aside from that, I have seen that mentioned in the past as being a pretty good one. So that's probably worth having a look at as well. I guess this is the whole thing. When you are a little bit bored of resort food and you can't be bothered going and having a big 5-star meal, like nicking up to a place like that is going to be your solution, isn't it? It's funny, I say all this stuff as if people are actually going to do it, but when I've walked around, I haven't walked past another foreigner today. Not one. And now I've walked how many kilometres now? I've walked nearly 4 kilometres and I haven't passed another foreigner on foot. I've seen them on motorbikes only. I've got a funny feeling no one comes along these areas in the mornings at least. Maybe at night, they might, I don't know, but it feels pretty barren, which is a bit sad really, because I know if I go to a resort and I get sort of hemmed in there for too long and I'm paying like $100 for a meal like every time, I just want to get out of there, even though it's very nice and lovely. I just have to get out there and get some like reality. And I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it with the visitors here. Maybe the thing is people don't know. People don't know that this is so accessible, and hopefully through the video they'll understand that it's pretty easy to go out there and have something a little bit different and maybe, you know, mix things up a little bit. And I suppose that's the whole premise of the channel, isn't it, really? I'm here trying to tell people that, hey, there's another side to Indonesia that's just there, but not necessarily easy to access. But if you know what you're doing, or if you take a couple of chances, you can get into it and have a really great time. And I know if I think back to when I first started coming to Bali, I thought I was very adventurous at times when I was still in the tourist areas. I remember I walked to the very northern end of Kuta once, just dipped into Legian, and I was staying in Kuta, and I thought I'd walked a million miles, and I thought I was pretty adventurous, you know, a real explorer, but you know, I wasn't. So that, I guess that mindset, as you explore further and further, you know, that's when you broaden your horizons and you can find out what else is around and probably start having a better experience, I think. But by the same token, not everyone's an adventurer, and a lot of people are just happy to hang out around the pool and not really see much, and that's okay as well. I don't sort of begrudge people that at all. You know, if that's what people want to do, that's fine. Well, that's interesting. That looks like more of a touristy type of restaurant. It's called Warung Kampung Ku. My village, Kampung Ku. So I'm getting a little bit closer to the hotels again now, so I'm assuming I'm going to get a few more Western style or Western focused places to eat. Tino's Bar and Eatery, open from, is it 4 or 2 until 10. Another sort of evening type bar slash eatery place. Oh, here we go, Hotel Santika. Now that's a much cheaper style of hotel than the big resorts. And again, we're not that far from the beach area. I've seen my first foreigner that I'm passing. There's a coffee shop across the road. I'll just have a quick look at it. That's where the foreigners are standing out the front of. Let's have a look at this one. Hello. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Well, aren't you so friendly? Okay, I got myself a little iced coffee like that. That's 45,000 for that one. I actually wanted a hot coffee, but it's just hot now. Like I've been walking around for like over an hour, so it's time to get cooled down a bit. That's good. It's actually a pretty nice cafe, this one. Like, look at this. Good looking cafe. This is actually not that far from that that hotel zone. Well, I reckon that was a good find. Easily one of the good ones around here. So I'm going to show you where we are located exactly according to all the hotels. Oh, a little Babi Guling place here. I feel like I'm getting into an area where there are a few more eateries and places to sort of come and hang out just outside the hotel zone, actually. Well, you can see little money changes. You've got little warungs there. Over the road there's a big spa and salon type place. Oh, what's that? Nasi ayam Ibuwaki. Oh, that looks like a good one as well. That's a really popular one. That's all local food, nasi ayam. You'll get a good feed there. Definitely spicy as well. I think, I'm not even sure, but that might be like an outlet of, there's a similar named one in Sanur, which is amazing as well. Little supermarket across the road, Coco Supermarket. So, I mean, what we're getting up to now is there is an intersection up here, which I've already been to on my previous Nusa Dua video. And that particular intersection is the one that takes you, if I go up here, so the intersection's just over there. If I go right, I go to the St. Regis, and if I go straight, I go into the entrance gates of the hotel complex here in Nusa Dua. So as you can see, this is a really good place to sort of come and have a look around. Down that road there towards the entrance gate, there's heaps of different places to eat down there, heaps of shopping opportunities, spas, laundries, that sort of stuff. So definitely worth coming around to. There's a smoothie bar across there, which looks good as well. So that's about it for me today here in Nusa Dua. It's sort of like taking you a little bit off the beaten track in a resort zone. It's something you wouldn't normally expect. If you really like to have a look at the local areas, but you are staying in a 5-star resort, well, this is the place to come, you know. If you do that little loop that I did today, you'll be loving it, honestly. Thanks for coming along for the ride today here in Nusa Dua, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.